Welcome, Internet, to the PixelPlay Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast where we get together to talk about all things video games. I am one of your co-hosts, Kaylan, aka Catastrophe, joined as always by my co-hosts, Adam at CS Radical and Chris at Gin and Chris. This week with the Olympics, we're going to be talking about games that we think would make good additions or replacements to the current Olympic Games. If you like that and you want more, we post podcasts every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you get your podcasts. And Fridays, we throw a little bit of sprinkling of bonus content on our YouTube channel. If you want us to talk a little bit about extra, you want to hear our voices a little bit more, head on over there, subscribe, like if you want. If you like what you see, great. This week, we're going to be talking about PlayStation losing its subscriber base and what that means for the service as a whole and our thoughts on it in general. With that being said, let's just jump right into it, guys. How have you been up to? It's been a week. We were off last week. Yeah, it's been. I'm all rusty because we missed last week. So
it's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
What have you guys been up to? What have you guys been playing?
Apart from dying in this room again, I almost put the VTuber thing on, but I'm like, okay, no, the AC apparently because it's on. Thankfully it doesn't sound like anybody can hear it, so I might actually survive the summer podcast now.
So
we're
Don't worry at all.
But speaking of things being hot, I got a lot of things to talk about game-wise, because I finished a couple of them. So I'll
Adam's lightning review round. Go.
Yeah, it certainly is. I've got quite a few of them. So first off, I finished a very short game called Scheme or Skim. It's spelled S-C-H-I-M. It's basically a game that's like a really short, like 2, 3, 4 hour indie game where you are basically a person's shadow trying to get back to them to become their shadow once more. It's almost like you're a living shadow, and the only way you can progress is by jumping through into other shadows. Otherwise, you will just get reset back to where you are. So it ends up being like this very kind of puzzle-ish sort of thing that's mixed with a bit of platforming as you try to like figure out, where the best spot is to kind of find your place. You're looking for, either maybe you got to turn this light on, or maybe you got to wait until a car comes by so you can have something to travel to, because there's literally nowhere else to go. Otherwise, you're just going to get stuck. So there's a nice bit of variance to it, where there is a sort of it's adorable to begin with, but also like it's definitely not overly challenging. So it's a very chill puzzle platformer. There are certain points where I was staring at it being like, okay, there must be something obvious that I'm not paying attention to. And then within 5 seconds, I'm like, oh yeah, there's the obvious thing that I wasn't paying attention to. But all in all, like very chill, easy experience. I've ended up playing about 2 different playthroughs. I just popped in, played about half of it, and then played the other half afterwards. It was a nice little bit to deal with there. And like for anybody that's just looking for something nice and chill, like you can put a couple hours in, that would be the way I go with that one. The next one, I was waiting to see if there were any questions, just because you never know with you guys. Next one that I went after is a game that I'm currently playing that it just came out, and I've been looking forward to this one for a long time, I want to say, because I remember playing this when during like one of the Steam demo festivals that they would have. This would have been like, I want to say like pre-pandemic minimum. I want to say like almost 5-6 years at this point. But it's a sort of Metroidvania, and it's called Gestalt Steam and Cinder, I should say. Not Steam and Cinder. And this one has been... Oh boy, Helldivers, you have competition when I finish this game, potentially, because I fucking adore this game. It's everything... It's weird. I've never been, like, super into these, so to have one that's actually been really, really fun has been kind of surprising, because I went into it when I played the demo, and it was really, really fun, so I was already looking forward to it. But I figure, like, all right, it's probably like a lot of these other games. I'll play it for a little bit, and then eventually I'll probably, like, either get bored or I'll come back to it sometime later. Nope. Apart from a little bit of time that I've spent with the last game I'll be talking about in a second here, this has been a lot of my time. And some of you are probably saying, well, weren't you playing Trails for the last, like, few weeks? I was. And that's all I'll say about that for the time being. I mean, long story short, with the Trails game, really, it's just that it's not clicking in the same way that the others have. It's not bad, but it's definitely not got me by a stranglehold. And I'm at chapter 4, and there's 6 chapters, so that's a little concerning. Although there's always a chance that there's a turn later on that happens, so you know what, whatever else. But I'm taking a break from it. I'm into chapter 4. I can take some time off, and in the meantime, I'm playing this fucking badass steampunk Metroidvania. And I mean, I wouldn't say that it's doing like anything like completely different. I think a lot of it is just the design and the atmosphere to it. It's just got a really, really neat look to it, almost like your character is like a fucking Carmen Sandiego playing this.
Yeah.
But it's got like a Game Boy Advance vibe.
Yeah,
to
it's
it
definitely
for some
got like
reason,
what's the Castlevania one I'm thinking of? Symphony of the Night, I think.
Yeah, it could be that one.
Where it's got that sort of like 2D side scroller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has that sort of vibe to it. There's some nice little gimmicks too, like you're seeing them fight a person with a shield right now. If you hit them with a gun, it actually stuns them, so that makes it easier for them to kill. There's dodge rolls. There are other things like following up, like you can do a slash during a dodge, or you can backstep and go back with a slash there. The only complaint that I have so far is the boss that I'm currently stuck at is a fucking asshole. And I can't get past him. It's like playing the Messenger, Chris, where, you know, there's always one boss where you're like, why can't I figure you out?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god. Great game, but
honestly,
oh my God.
I'm enjoying the hell out of this one. Similar to the Messenger, like this has been a fantastic Metroidvania. And honestly, like I said, art style is really, really good. You know, that old homage to like your Super Nintendo, like you said, Game Boy Advance, you know, Metroidvania sort of style games. So it's definitely been one that's been sitting very well with me. But of course, Chris will be happy to know the last thing I've been doing just recently is Balatro, although he's really mad when I told him that my second run ever was a finish.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Yeah, me too.
That took me like, not like forever, but I want to say like 5-6 hours or something before I finally figured out my strategy and got the proper RNG.
I mean, look, I'm not going to lie that there was a little bit of luck in there. I mean, look, when you figure out really quick as the cards you're put in front of you say, hey, you know what you should do? Just play pairs, and here's a shit ton of multipliers for it. And I went, well, yes, I will take an easy win. Thank you very much. And then later on, I was like, oh, I thought it was going to get harder. Instead, it really wasn't, because I just kept finding ways to make a multiplier go bigger. So, like, my ending, for the Blatro nerds out there, my ending bit after the first 8 rounds, I went to Endless afterwards and died at round 10, because getting 100,000 with pairs only is kind of fucking difficult. But the final list that I had is I had a holofoil, which adds an extra 10 to the multiplier, but the card already was plus 20 multiplier if you have 3 or fewer cards when you play a hand. So if you're only playing pairs or 3 of a kinds, boom, straightforward. The next one I had was a foil to add 50 chips to it, so there's already an extra 50 points on top of it before the multiplier even goes. And it also says that adds +1 to the multiplier for each time you've played that hand before. So by the time that the game was done, I had played like 50 pairs. So every time I would drop a pair, I'm just getting 31, 32, 33, and it's just getting ridiculous. The third one, this is where the Arcana or the Tarot cards came in handy, because I got a lucky one with the Wheel of Fortune. So I got a 1.5 multiplier put on this card, but all the card was doing was giving me a free reroll in the shop, which is fantastic, especially towards the end game when you're just looking for certain planets or certain tarot cards to really hamper up. So like every time I'd reroll, I'm like, all right, give me something that I can get another Mercury, so I can just add another level to the pairs, and just completely. I think by the time the Endless is over, I think my pairs level was at like 11, and 3 of a kind was at like 13. So it's just absurd. The fourth one was a triple multiplier. It's a banana. You have a 1 in 1,000 chance that it's destroyed after each round. Now, I just on a different run managed to destroy the banana, and I was very upset about that, because what are the odds that a 1 in 1,000 chance? That's like XCOM when you have a 98% chance of hitting the shot and you miss. And then the last one that I had was at the end of every round, I earn a certain amount of money that just keeps getting upgraded. So by the time the Endless was done, I was getting an extra $15 at the end of each round, plus an extra 2 if it was a boss wave. So like every round it was just, all right, so I can buy basically everything in the shop and reroll, and on top of that, like just kind of go with and just mess with it. Like I could reroll like at least 2-3 times every shop round, just see if I could find anything that I could just kind of make things even better. I didn't even really buy cards per se, like not like actual playing cards. It was very rare that I ever got them. It was mostly unless there was a starter pack and I just added like another card that just had like a glass thing or a steel card or whatever else that would have given some sort of bonus to it. It's pretty rare that I ever bought one from the shop. So yeah, I figured it out at that point, and then I have played 5 rounds since then and have not been able to even come close to replicating that. So that's where I know that the luck came in. But I've definitely got more of a strategy. I've learned very quickly, and I'm not sure if you can attest to this, Chris. Trying to play the long game with cards like flushes and straights, it's not as dependent as you would think it is. No matter what you do with it, it's really hard to get a good run of that.
Well, the flushes are also bad because you can build up a flush like a good hand to like be getting flushes all the time, and then you get hit with one boss where that suit doesn't work, and then
there's also that.
Yeah. I actually only have one with flushes. It was like my go-to, and I always use the same type of strategy because I unlocked a bunch of jokers that were related to flushes. The last time I won, my one hand, it only took one hand for the final boss, and you need 100,000, and I got 2.9 million, like in one hand from a flush. So if you do it right and you get the proper jokers, flushes can be insane.
Yeah.
But there is that risk where I was like, because one time I was going like diamonds, and the boss was, diamonds don't work or whatever, and I was like this runs over. Like, there's nothing else I can do. I got one thing. Yeah.
And that's why I dropped out. Like, I'm not to say I'm completely out of Balatro, but that's why I kind of lost my interest in it, because it was so random that you could be building the strategy, get to the 6th or 7th round, and it's like, oh yeah, never mind, you're done here. And it's like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do to counter it at this point. Like, I've wasted my time. So that was my biggest gripe with Balatro. But I'm glad that you're having fun and succeeding with that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a bit of a blast. I mean, granted, it's also like it's something that you'll pop in for like an hour and just play a few rounds and then be done with it. So, I mean, I'm surprised to already say that at this point that I found a game or a roguelite that's better than Zed Zillions, which I thought was going to be one of my favorite games this year, and now it's not even my favorite roguelike, which is crazy because now there's two. Because I forgot Tape to Tape is also up there as well. That hockey roguelike I was telling you guys about the other show too. If you had told me that like some of my favorite games this year were going to be roguelites, considering I've had such a problem with them over the years, like it's very few that actually go with me. Like Into the Breach would be one, FTL would be another one, but like the gaps between them are so rare, and yet in the same year I've now had 3. So
yeah, it is a good year for that genre for sure.
Chris, what about you? What have you been up to?
So I'd mentioned in the last main podcast I was in, so this was like 3 weeks ago, that I had done the mistake of getting into like 3 JRPGs simultaneously. Tactics Ogre Reborn on my Steam Deck, Fire Emblem Engage on my Switch, and then just normal JRPG, Eowyn Chronicle, 100 Heroes, whatever, on the Xbox. Apparently my PlayStation got very jealous that I had JRPGs on the go everywhere but there, even though I have 2 JRPGs in my backlog in my PlayStation I could have just played. But PlayStation ended up dropping a PSP game in their like classics collection that I had always wanted to try. And I was like, well, I'm not getting PlayStation Premium or something like that. But then I looked and the game's like $10 US if you just want to straight up buy it, which, by the way, why would you ever need PlayStation Premium? You can buy the games individually. Way better deal for sure. $10, 100%. So I hopped on that, and that game is another tactics or strategy JRPG. I don't even remember what the genre is called at this point. I'm so lost in it. And it's called Jeanne d'Arc, which is like Joan of Arc. And Kaylan, you would like the first 5 minutes of this game. That's one of the first things I thought of, because it's the actual real characters like King Henry VI, Joan of Arc, like real cities in France that you're going to. The Hundreds Year War, or whatever the heck it's called, takes place during that. It's like historically not accurate, but historically like, wow,
based.
That's pretty cool. Based.
Then
and it's an anime, so obviously Joan of Arc turns into a holy knight, Sailor Moon style, by transformation of her secret armlet, as well as King Henry VI is actually his weird-looking jester uncle, kind of put a demon in him, and now he calls forth the demons to fight in the war, which so far is still all accurate to history. That part we know.
I couldn't even say it. You're killing me, and my history degree is just dying. Just dying inside.
Literally, this game.
Oh, shut up! You play Assassin's Creed.
It's like Assassin's Creed, but with it's everything Kaylan hates about Assassin's Creed, but in anime, which also Kaylan kind of doesn't like either.
So what you're saying is we need an Assassin's Creed anime just to really piss him off now.
Oh my God.
Wait! No, incorrect. We need a Netflix Splinter Cell anime before any game comes out because that'll really get under his skin.
That will. Oh, so yeah, it's funny because as I was playing this, I was like, that one of my first thoughts was Kaylan would love the first 5 minutes of this game. Like when it is still kind of realistically talking about what historically happened, just in an anime art style, sure.
Yeah.
But at least it was still accurate. And then, yeah, all the demon stuff happened. And I was like, nope, Kaylan would be out. He's done. Adam's in, though.
Oh, man, I can't wait to tell Kaylan about this game. This could be right up. Oh, we're gone.
Yeah,
lost him.
It was definitely like that.
And it's gone.
The game is
Oh, yes.
amazing.
Here's the classic point where Joan of Arc fights a giant lizard.
Yeah, as a holy knight using her magic armlet. Kaylan, this is history, man. This is history.
How do you know that it's true? Like we could have actually lost everything at the time when we just rewrote it off of what we thought.
Is she fighting a fucking minotaur? Oh my god, that's not even the same time period
that you know of.
Yeah, when did you live in France at this time? Come on.
You keeping a time machine from us? Come on, prove it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So the game is actually a lot of fun. I will just throw that right out there. It's if you're gonna pick this up, anybody listening to this who maybe is into this style of game, it is only like $10 US on the PlayStation Store regular price. Probably even go on sale. For the money, it's absolutely worth it. But keep in mind, it is a PSP game in the Classics collection. This is not a remaster. This is not like where they've done a new port or anything like that. It's emulation PlayStation's version. But it's actually not
bad.
No, so bad. PlayStation's emulation that they're doing, because this is one of the first PSP games that they've put into the system, it actually has an upscale. It is being upscaled to 4K resolution. Now, that works for all the 3D textures. It's the 2D textures that like are just kind of blurry.
You can tell the difference because like the avatar pictures are still blurry compared to the models, which are not.
Yes. And to me, it does not take away from the experience at all. Like, yes, the FMV anime cutscenes, which are all 2D hand-drawn, a little blurry. They have not been upscaled to 4K. That's not possible. They have been upscaled a bit, but I mean, they went from a PSP, which was like, what, 240p in resolution? I'm assuming
screen.
Yeah, on a 6-inch screen. So I'm playing on my 4K TV. I'm assuming it's been upscaled to like 720p. Maybe it has been pushed up to 4K, but like the blurriness just went with it. You can still see it and everything's fine, but like don't be expecting a crystal clear, perfect anime cutscene, right? But the actual game itself, the menu, the world map, the battles, all of that is properly upscaled and looks great. So it's just some words and some of the character like avatar portrait pictures that are going to be a little blurry. But again, the game's only $10 for the entire game. Because it's emulation, it has a rewind feature, just like the Nintendo Switch Online service. I have used that a lot in this game because this game does not hold back where you'll move a character to attack somebody, you miss, and then they counterattack and you die in one hit. And then it's like game over. And I'm like, what just happened? So I just hit start, rewind, and decide I'm not going to do that because I am not messing around with an old game. I'm 40. I don't have time for this. I've got other things I got to do.
I got 3 other JRPGs I'm working on.
I got 3 other JRPGs I'm working on. Actually, I did beat Fire Emblem Engage and I did beat Tactics Ogre Reborn in this time. But this is the game I wanted to talk about. So I've only got 2 other, well, actually 3. I bought another JRPG, but I'll talk about that another day.
You have a problem, sir.
Not as much as I do, but
Star Ocean.
At least you finished the games, Adam.
Hey, I just said I finished 2 out of them, and I'm working on this one.
I was gonna say, in all honesty, he's doing better than me because I've basically stopped playing one right now.
Yeah, and Star Ocean First Departure R was like $6 on the Switch. I've never seen it go that low, and it's not on any other system. So if I'm gonna try that game, I got to just drop my $6. So I'm also like 10 hours into that, but that's another time. But yeah, this game is amazing. The emulation is amazing, and PlayStation added trophies to the game. That's why I was like, you know what? I want to give PlayStation emulation. I want to give it to the benefit of the doubt. It's a game I've always wanted to play. I know I could just emulate it probably on my Steam Deck or on my PC, but I was like, you know what? Official trophies, and let's give one emulated game go on the PlayStation and see what it's like. And yeah, I'm like not overly upset. Obviously, on PC, you're going to get much better upscales, probably even like that 2D stuff. There's all these like custom packs that like actual fans have created and stuff like that to bring the games up. Fast forward is not here. I would really freaking love it when it's the enemy's turn. Then I have to sit there and watch the AI play out all their moves compared to just holding down the fast forward button like I would on RetroArch or whatever on my PC. But yeah, it's not awful compared to some of the other games that I've seen emulated on the PlayStation, and I think it's because this was a 3D textured game. I have played other games where they weren't as focused on the 3D textures. It was more 2D textures, and it just did not upscale well in the PlayStation Store. So you got to be kind of careful which ones you do play and stuff like that. But again, the fact that they added trophies and stuff, like, and not just stupid ones too, like completing different chapters and defeating certain bosses and stuff like that. Like it actually kind of modernized the game just slightly. Yeah, cool. I'm loving it. What about you, Kaylan? What have you been playing?
I have been playing Flintlock, Siege of Dawn. This is the new game. It came on Xbox Game Pass, but it's I think on PlayStation as well. And like this game did not come out to great reviews. Like it didn't come out to bad, but I think it's hovering around like 7 out of 10 kind of thing, like 70% on Metacritic. I don't know exactly where it's at, but it's not been lighting anyone on fire. And holy cow, this is a game that people are sleeping on. I really like it. So the crux of it, it's a Souls-like game where you're playing in like a, for lack of a better term, like a powder punk style world. So like the game implies, it's a flintlock. It's called Flintlock. You have like flintlock pistols and rifles and stuff. And so you're like a regular soldier in like the trenches. It's like World War I / Napoleonic / like Revolutionary War style, like war against these undead who have been coming through. This god comes loose from this portal and the world kind of goes to hell. You get partnered with this one god named Enki, who is like this little bird fox kind of thing, or fox bird. I don't know how you want to describe it. But you go through and you're like on this mission to like go after the god who opened up the gates to cause all of these problems. And this game is phenomenal. I am not a huge Souls-like person. I played Elden Ring, never beat it. I got as far as like the Giants and I dipped out. And this game is great. So like I started playing it as a Souls-like, and it has this cool aspect where it's like kind of Souls-like, kind of Devil May Cry, where what you do is like you go and you get multipliers and you get points. So when you kill an enemy, you get points. So you get 50 points, you get 50. It's called reputation. So you get reputation for killing it. Small creatures, big creatures, depending on how difficult they are, the more you get. However, you get multipliers for doing different things. So if you slide and shoot, if you slide and like attack them with your axe and a melee attack, pull your pistol, do whatever, you get more multipliers, the more consecutive hits you can do without getting damage. So it carries from battle to battle to battle, and at any time you can redeem how many points you have or how much reputation you have along with the multiplier. So if you've gone a while without getting hit, you might have like 500 reputation with a 100% multiplier. So long as you've not gotten hit, you can redeem it and you get all those points. If you do take a bit of damage, you lose that multiplier and you just get the reputation as it is. So I was playing it initially as a Souls-like, and it was good, but it was hard, and I don't have the time to play this in that style. So I went down to story mode, and this game just became amazing. Like, it is not difficult. It is very much like an action RPG, a la Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, God of War, that style game. A lot of blocking, parrying, that sort of thing, and I love it. So I've been going through. I think it's like about a 20 to 30 hour game. I'm loving the setting. I'm loving the characters. I'm playing a girl named Nora or Nor. Nora is her name, and like I like the relationship between her and Enki. Like this kind of feels like what I think Sony wanted Forspoken to be, and it is really good. Like you have these little powers where you can cause Enki to kind of put curses on people that then make them easier to kill. You've got different weapons. You can have like a blunderbuss that shoots like a mortar cannon, ones that shoot fire, like a sharpshooter kind of thing. And it's really cool. Like I like the story. I like the setting. If you want it to be a Souls-like game and you want it to be up in that like difficulty level, absolutely. It's very competent, really effective. If you want it to be more of a action adventure like RPG, you can totally do it that way. The only consequence they have for going on story mode is you don't get achievements, which I'm not a huge fan of. Like I think like they could have gotten rid of like making it so you can't get the platinum, but it's not the end of the world. So I'm surprised that it's not getting as good of feedback like reception is, and I think this is going to be one of those cult classic style games that as more and more people play it, they'll be like, hey, this is actually really good. But yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking the setting. If anyone's ever read like the Powder Mage trilogy, this game is like right up there with that. So like that same style of setting, like graphically, it looks incredible. I fully recommend this game. This is one of the games like in high contention for game of the year so far. There's other ones I'm thinking of, but this is up there with like Helldivers in terms of I'm considering it as a game of the year, see how it lands. But so far I'm 2/3 of the way through. At some point I'd say probably about halfway, and I'm not sick and tired of it. And the fact that it is a short game, like 30 hours, is that perfect setting. And the diversity is cool. So right now, if you're watching on YouTube, there's like a hill, forest, wintry scene. Then there's like a desert scene. And like it's not one massive open world, but rather it is smaller open worlds. And then you can kind of go between different maps. The other thing I want to talk about with this game is the exploration. I have never been incentivized and rewarded more for exploring than I have in this game. So as you explore, you can find different weapons, different items to kind of change how you play. And I look at the map and I'm like, oh, this looks like somewhere I can go. And if I go, I'll find a new piece of equipment. And I've not been told to go there. It's just me being adventurous. And so I find that there's not a lot of dumb collectibles. Like the only collectibles I can think of is like you can go around and find flags. Like there's these flags you can shoot, but it's only like 15 per level. And there's only 3 major levels, so it's not hard to do that. But everything else, like you get rewarded for exploring. If you see something on the map that looks interesting, like a cave, you go explore. Chances are you're going to find something that's either going to make Enki more powerful, it's going to increase your health capacity, it's going to give you a new weapon. Really cool that way. So like I'm really liking this game, and considering this is like the second game that this studio has made is really impressive. So I don't know why the reception has not been great on this. I feel like maybe it suffers a little bit from going for that Souls-like experience, and it just doesn't vibe as well. But as a game as a whole, as an action RPG, like this game is fantastic, and I think it still holds up really well as Soulsborne like. So honestly, people are sleeping on this game, and I think people need to give it a try, especially if you have Game Pass. There's not really much coming out right now. 20 to 30 hours. Give this a shot.
Yeah, you're kind of selling me on it. I mean, it definitely looks like it takes place in the same realistic, true to history world as Joan of Arc, which is nice.
Yeah.
No, but
historical realism.
Yeah, it does actually look like a lot of fun. And once you mentioned story mode, because that was my issue, I thought it was like only Souls-like. So the fact that it has the story mode and it becomes easier, like I'm in.
I feel like this game would have benefited from abandoning that Souls-like aspect and going just for a more accessible like action RPG, but I mean the fact that you
it sounds like they're trying to more cross off a box, unfortunately, because it's so popular right now.
Yeah, but I mean like it does it competently. If you're looking for a Soulsborne game and you don't have anything right, like I know it also probably suffers from the fact that Shadow of the Erdtree like came out just around the same time, but if you're looking for something along that lines, it's competent. But if you are like, hey, I like this game, or I'm looking for a game, and you're turned off by the Soulsborne aspect, you can turn it off and it doesn't affect it. And the traversal is really cool too, because you can do like double jumps and like pivots and stuff. It's kind of got a little bit of like an Infamous vibe to it, in that sort of traversal. So, like I said, it's doing a lot for me. I'm really enjoying this game, and it's all I want to do and think about right now. So, yeah, you guys are sleeping on Flintlock.
I think I have it installed on my Xbox. I feel like I did that. I'll have to give it a go.
I can't. Yeah. I canceled my subscription. I can't.
That's right.
That's right.
It is also, like I said, it is a PlayStation game as well. Like you can go and get it on the PlayStation Network as well. I imagine this will be eventually like a PlayStation Plus game, but if you get a chance to play it or you have interest, like I thoroughly recommend it.
But how? I'm going to cancel that one on the Friday video as well. So what am I supposed to do?
Go buy the physical copy then. Adam, let's pivot to this week's topic. You brought an interesting one to us this week, with it being the Olympics and everything. So I'm going to pass it over to you and let you kind of talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah, so obviously the Summer Olympics are going on right now. Very, very exciting. Just a side note, did anybody catch the opening ceremony and think that that was not the coolest fucking thing ever with Gojira playing on a castle?
I did not watch it.
And an assassin with the torch doing parkour on the roofs, and they said it was actually based on like Assassin's Creed Unity.
That's cool.
He apparently, the assassin had the actual torch and was parkouring on the roofs. I haven't seen that part, but
which is funny because Assassin's Creed was developed in Quebec initially. But I get Ubisoft is like a French
Ubisoft
company.
is there, yeah. But yeah, I thought that's a cool little.
I did see that
thing.
part, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been interesting so far. But obviously, the Olympics, especially the Summer Olympics. I mean, granted, it's biased because we're all Canadian, but the Summer Olympics compared to the Winter Olympics are fucking boring. So it's time to jazz them up. It's time to make it better.
Wait. I want to. You say the Summer Olympics is boring. That's true. Except if you've seen this new kayak sport, cross kayak or whatever.
It's less boring this year.
Yeah.
It's still boring, but less boring.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I still don't need to see like 90 different versions of gymnastics and fucking synchronized swimming. Like, please, I can't.
Power walking. That's the one you got to watch.
Oh, the ultimate fuck you, I have money sport? Yeah, I know. Yeah, that can suck a lot of things. But anyways, we're not here to talk about terrible sports. That's why we have this topic. We're talking about things that are going to be better. Now, look, just because some of the things we're about to say that are based off of video games are completely unrealistic doesn't mean that they don't belong in the PixelPlay Olympics. Look, not everyone can hold their breath and play underwater soccer for 60 minutes, but in this world they can. So keep in mind that this is not to be taken as realistic replacements. These are all like...
I don't think anyone thought we were coming up with real like replacements.
But that's the metrics here is we're not trying to just do like video game
like the Olympic
versions
Committee's
of sports
not looking and be like, oh man, we're struggling. What can we do? PixelPlay Podcast, save us. What game should we include?
Right. I mean, look, to be fair,
by the way, we're gonna call it the Pixelympics. That's really the only name we can call it.
Exactly. But alas, so like for example, just as to throw one out there, instead of doing like let's say, I don't know, like basketball, then you go into NBA Jam thing where yes, that it does include the rims catching on fire when you shoot enough in a row. So that kind of stuff where it's just 2-on-2, full contact, and just fucking go. So like that's like an example, and we're gonna get way more extreme. It doesn't have to be also connected to a sport. Like I just gave one to something that's similar, but like there are things that I will bring up in this that have nothing to do with anything. It's just, hey, this would be fucking cool in replace of, I don't know, equestrian, because why the fuck is that an Olympic sport? Does the horse get the medal? No, then it's not a fucking sport because that rider isn't doing shit.
Man, we've lost the whole horse community on this podcast.
Yeah, well, fuck.
My fan base is gone.
It's all right.
That was 98% of our
the
fan
equestrian
base.
group is gone. We've lost them.
Well, now that we only have 3 viewers left. So I'll start with the easiest one. Like obviously soccer can be an easy replacement with Rocket League. Come on. Like that's pretty straightforward. Soccer with flying cars. Yeah, works for me. Or I guess not flying cars, cars with a boost, you know.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Are we just going in a circle?
If anybody's got an idea, because I mean, I've got plenty. I
don't have. Yeah, we'll just kind of shoot it. I'll go next. It's not a huge departure, but I'm surprised that golf is not part of the Olympics.
It is actually.
And I think that is it really?
Yep. It's been on and off. Like I think last time it wasn't. That's why you're probably mixed because they don't seem to.
Or it's
because baseball at some point hasn't been. I don't even think baseball is this year again, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
But like,
anyways,
it's because how the IOC is also weird with it. Like soccer, I guess football. Sorry, I'm sorry, Europeans, but you know that's what we dumbass North Americans.
We won
call
the war.
But soccer apparently in the Olympics is considered a B tier sport. It's not even one of the highest of tier sports in the Olympics.
What? Wow, everybody in the world is angry.
Yeah,
so many people.
Like, and that's why it's weird when things like baseball don't make it, right? Because it's you would think that a sport that is actually regularly available like worldwide, because like Japan's got a big league, Korea's got a big league, it's getting big in Australia and England actually, and the Netherlands. So like it's starting to make waves, but they're like, nah, no one wants to see that. They want to see more people skeet shooting. To which I'm like, well, it's not the worst thing, but it's not my first choice.
So going back to the whole thing with golf, I think golf would be a lot of fun in the Olympics if we did the hot shots golf style or everybody's golf. And I want to see the time lapse where it's like a race, like not just like, hey,
Oh, sort of like what the Mario Golf like Super Rush is now?
Yeah, I think everybody's golf did it too, though, where it's like you do like speed run hitting as well. So like there's an aspect of you want to like have good time as well. So because golf is boring if you just sit there and like look
one
at the grass.
at a time.
No, I ain't got time. Like, come on, we got things to do.
Well, I mean, Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and like Mario Golf, the other player should be able to taunt the player over and over and over and over, like as Wario, and you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just keep hitting the button over and over. We should be allowed to do that too.
Speaking on the subject of golf, though, because I had 2 other ones that kind of fit with it. Golf with your friends or insert any mini golf game. Because let's be real, that's a way more entertaining fucking thing to watch than golf.
Mini golf would be cool.
Mini golf at one point, like way back when, used to actually be televised. And honestly, I've got like, if anybody wants to see something really weird, go watch a mini golf tournament like that was televised on ESPN, probably somewhere in the 90s. It's fucking jarring. Do they comment
like a PGA game? Do they comment like a PGA game?
Sort of.
They're like,
that'd be cool.
Here, Chris Charles comes up to hole number 8, and he's choosing a putter. What a bold choice on this one.
But like the thing is, the one that I found when I watched it once,
they're not
they're not like that complex. It's more just the angles that are. It's just getting the hole in ones. It's almost like watching pool, right? Whereas in this case, no, wacky fucking over the top courses. That's what we really need. So
dinosaurs, shoot it into a T-Rex's mouth. That's got to be one of the courses.
That's standard.
That's standard.
And the alternate that I had to that too is Yakuza also has a driving range minigame where it's either you're hitting like targets in the distance or there is like a hole, but there's a bunch of things either around it or there's things hanging on the ceiling, so that way you have to like be careful. So like some sort of target practice. I think that would at least be more interesting than just he hit it on the green and I hit it on the green again. Now he's gonna putt it.
Like, everyone knows the only target on a driving range is the ball collector that drives around. That's the only target.
That's extra points. That's like way more points than everything else. That's a moving target.
Hit that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what I also wanted to add to golf. Chris, what do you got?
Well, speaking of gymnastics kind of being boring sometimes, I was thinking, what if we took that gymnastics mat and instead of doing backflips on it, we did the disco mini game from Yakuza?
Yakuza's going to have a lot of things in this, honestly.
I think I have 3. I made a quick list and Yakuza's in there like 3 times.
I mean, also like breakdancing is a thing this year for the first time in the Olympics. So like as like a sort of thing, I also put like literal Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But I want like 80s Yakuza disco though too. Like we got to have both. You can't just pick one or the other. I'm shaking your head, Kaylan.
Well, the thing with the breakdancing competition is they don't actually tell you what the music is. You got to improvise to it. So you know what? If you throw a Yakuza like disco music in there and make a contestant do that, there you go.
Yeah, and then for everybody watching at home, you could see QuickTime event button presses going by, even though it doesn't make sense.
No. Every time they finish, they have to go.
Oh, 100%.
They have to go really, really fucking weird pose at the end.
Yeah.
It's basically, like, you know what? It's not even really the Pixel Olympics. It's more like the JoJo Olympics with all the posing.
Oh, I love this idea so much. I'm
loving this more just because Kaylan is just seething in the background.
It's like you're ruining my Olympics, my favorite pastime.
Go ahead, Adam.
I was gonna say, so one of the completely like I can't think of anything that this relates to. Super Monkey Ball. I want an obstacle course that somebody has to do in a ball and have to fucking make the way around it to get to the goal. That's what I fucking want. Whether it's a race or it's one-on-one or it's just it's solo, I don't care. In fact, why not both? You can have a race and just a time trial. I'm in.
I like it.
Now, granted, we can't have them fall into the abyss. We do have to think about human rights in this a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. The abyss is a giant net that they fall into.
Or they're probably... I mean, I don't think we can dig that big a hole or hang something that high in the air, so I think it'll just be a course that they can just bump into stuff, okay? It'll be more like Marble Madness courses. Actually, there are pits there, too. Never mind. I retract that statement.
Kaylan, you got another one?
Yeah, like, I was kind of thinking, like, we need to get aerial with these. And so, like, I'd like to see, like, a pilot's wing kind of thing where it's, like, hang gliding through, like, a course. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, on my list, I had everything from Pilot Wing 64. Like, I didn't even pick one. I wrote everything because it's like the jetpack, the like little airplane that's like a little kit airplane, and you shoot rockets at targets and stuff. Oh yeah, Pilot Wing's great idea. I love that.
Unrelated. You know what? The Calgary Stampede also needs an improvement. So instead of wrangling a cow with a lasso, now it's like Rogue Squadron, where you got to get the X-wing and actually tie around the AT-AT and knock it over. That's an event.
Like,
How fast can you do it?
So the only thing to stop is we have to build X-wings and AT-ATs. That's the only thing limiting
That's
us.
all we need.
It's a fictional universe, Kaylan. We have infinite money. It's like the Helldivers automatons. We just pump that shit out.
Infinite money. Wow, there's a lot of other things besides redesigning the Olympics.
Well, yeah, we did put in a Game Shark when we did this as well.
Just like the real Olympics. No, that's how you get kicked out.
Yes, that's the real performance-enhancing drug right there, Game Shark.
I've got one that's like kind of, well, okay, it could be done kind of realistic, but I was thinking, I don't know if skateboarding's in there. I feel like
It
that
is
was
now,
one-
It is actually.
Yeah.
This is the first year.
I want them to
Actually,
actually.
no, second year.
Oh,
second
second
year.
year.
Yeah, because like
I
I
want
think it was like a 14-year-old that won it last year, like a Japanese 14-year-old, like something crazy like that.
It would be a 14-year-old.
It would be a 14-year-old. Yeah, let's be honest. I want them to take a massive course, and I literally want them to put the word skate all around there, like in Tony Hawk. And it plays awesome music. And obviously, people get the ability to go along like electrical lines and just go around. I don't know how they do that part. That's where it gets a little unrealistic. But even if you kept
Look,
it
they're working
slightly
Sunset
realistic,
Overdrive too.
yeah, that's true. Just like actually force them to collect the word skate and then see how quickly they can do it while also pulling off tricks. I'm in. Just
Well, it's
Tony
like how
Hawk.
in the same way
the
you
game,
just put
but real.
Jet Set Radio in for roller skating.
Yes, that's a good one. I didn't have that written down, but I like that.
Yeah, and you have to, and the only way to get proper points, it's like biathlon where you have to like ski and shoot, but instead you have to rollerblade and tag walls with spray paint.
Oh, so good. Adam, I know you got another one.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I got a lot. I'll get cycling out of the way, because I mean, obviously we're all fellow Canucks here, and we all lived around the same area at one point. So like, we all remember Palladium. Do we remember Downhill Bikers?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So it's just extreme downhill mountain bike racing. I don't care if you die falling down a cliff. Them's the risks. Also, it's unrealistic. We got respawning. It's fine. I know I just said the super monkey ball pit thing, but I don't know how to do teleportation. So you know what? Yeah.
Use your infinite money.
Fair. I got technology to work with. The other alternative that I had as well, similar to cycling. I mean, it's motorcycles, but like the Trials games, right? The more like puzzle platformy sort of motorcycle like obstacle course games where they're very, very difficult. Like, that would almost be like a real event where it's like you have to stick to a very finite line and you can't fall over. Like, that could almost work because there are people that do that sort of stuff as stunt work, but like I can't imagine in an Olympic setting it would be that good. But it's a fantasy where we get to make it work.
I like it. Kaylan, you got another one?
I mean, we've already broken the seal on Star Wars, so I'm going to be the one that brings in Star Wars stuff. The best kind of racing. We need to get pod racing into the Olympics. Let's just get some pod racers. I say that's the way to go.
I like
Also,
it.
Star Wars pod racing was such a great game on the N64.
It was.
And
I mean,
just,
it probably wasn't, but I'm not going to play it to break that illusion. That's going to sit up here for free.
I have it on Steam and played it on my Steam Deck. It is not as good as I remember. It feels like an N64 game.
Mm-hmm. Now, granted, there's some people being like, but racing game, like, that's more just like car driving. Like, that's not big. Equestrian's a sport in the Olympics. Nope. And we'll actually put the medal on the pod, not the racer.
Yeah, the pod wins. Well, I got one that's a little fun that I think could still realistically be done, but like, so Overcooked for people in a kitchen trying to cook things like crazy. God, I think like just crazy cooking. I don't know what the hell to call this sport. Just people cooking in crazy situations with like they're on the back of two transport trucks and sometimes they split apart and sometimes they're back together. Yeah, I want that crazy cooking situation. In the summer, because it's like a summer Olympics.
And that's how the athletes get fed, so it works.
Yeah.
It's a 2-in-1 deal. I'll let you guys pick weird or realistic on this one.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with this one. I mean, it's obvious. I talked about it earlier. Aquatic sports need to get better, so Blitzball from Final Fantasy X needs to come into play. Because who else could understand how amazing underwater soccer rugby would be? Because that's basically what Blitzball is. Don't ask how the hell a inflatable ball moves so well through a shit ton of water. Don't worry about that stuff.
It's practice, Adam. It
not
just
important.
is practice.
Not important. Don't worry about it. I'm still waiting for that Blitzball game, Square.
Yeah, I don't know why there isn't just a solo Blitzball game. Like, people would snatch that up so quickly.
The thing is I say that jokingly, and then I also go, I don't know how many people would actually play one, though.
You and I would. That's all that matters.
Because let's be real, Blitzball from Final Fantasy X is not actually that fun until you break it.
Oh, okay.
Because we can all admit, the first game against the Luca Goers fucking sucks.
Yeah, you're not supposed to win that one.
But you have to, because you win something because of it.
I have won it before, once. I don't remember how I did it.
You get lucky. It's like how I win Balatro.
Kaylan, you got another one?
Sticking with the racing theme. Racing's fine. Racing with cars, Formula One, Indy, whatever, NASCAR. It's fine, but it's cars just driving. You know what we need? Fucking explosions going off in these races. Do you guys play Split Second?
Oh yeah.
That's what we need. We need it where you can
Burnout.
trigger like that sort of thing. Like I want like bridges collapsing, nuclear bombs going off, just to like shave a couple seconds off of your race time. Like that's what I'm thinking.
I can't lie, when you said explosions, I thought you were going Twisted Metal. I was like, wow, that is a risky sport to get into. You basically win or you're dead. Oh, I love that.
To go into more realistic, you got to have shooting games in their summer because we got to please the Americans somehow. So the idea, I have two separate ideas. One is obviously like, I'm actually surprised that they haven't tried something like this, like doing something similar to what paintball is, like just a 4v4, like sort of set up that way, because there definitely is some athleticism to it, especially if you have it like on a smaller map, so it's like real rush. So almost like, have you guys ever seen the World Tag League?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Or, like professional tag? That shit's impressive to me. So there's stuff like that where I go like, man, like why couldn't you adopt this to also being like super quick with like, with paintball guns or something, or airsoft or whatever that may be? I'm sure that there's, a thing to it where they just go, man, we can't do that.
Well, the Olympics, like, they have a thing where, like, they're all about, like, peace and collaboration. So, like, I think, like, they wouldn't do it. But, like, also, paintball's not as cool as it used to be. Like, if you think about it, like,
all right,
sure,
fine, laser
like,
tag, get on with it.
I mean, I'm just saying, have you guys watched the paintball, like, those paintball clips? It's literally just some guy just sitting there just going...
That's when that's when you make up rules so that way they can't stand still. They have to always be moving. And
they like, and you can tell that they're sponsored because they're dumping paintballs like they're not like 75 cents a ball.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, Chris, if you haven't watched it, go watch paintball clips. It is they've taken the cool sport and made it the lamest thing ever.
They made it too meta.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm taking real talk, professional tag should be in the Olympics because that shit's fucking amazing to watch. And I'm not even joking with that. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, that would be cool. I like this paintball idea, but for some reason in my head, I'm picturing putting like 20 people all at once just in like a maze, and the Metal Gear Solid theme plays on repeat as they hunt each other.
All right, fine. It's paintball, but it's also Fortnite. Just do the Battle Royale thing and get on with it.
They fall out of the sky from an actual city bus.
Yep. But the alternative to that... The alternative
you said you're an athlete. Prove it.
The alternative I have is, you know how a lot of games, especially military shooters, at the beginning of a game will have like the time trial tutorial where you try to get through a section as fast as you can, whether it's like Titanfall, or I'm pretty sure Call of Duty must have done this at least once, where it's like, hey, get through this room, take care of all the terrorists, don't hit any hostages, and get out as quickly as possible, and we'll give you your time plus your score. Do that. That'd be way better than watching somebody quietly shoot a target with a pistol. Which, by the way, I immediately hated it because I saw a clip of somebody like broke the record in women's shooting recently. But because of the sport apparently has a very like strict celebration law where they can't be too like energetic when they do something. So like she does this, clearly breaks the record, and it looks like she doesn't even give a shit. I'm like, dude, you fucking broke a world record. Be fucking celebrate. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's weird that that's a rule.
There's just some things about it's the sanctity of the sport, or we gotta, not overdo it there. It'd be like, this is the same reason why, like, again, I'm trying not to vent, but like baseball is slowly dying because they're not letting athletes like get nearly as animated. So like there's that code that you don't show the pitcher up when you hit a big home run or something, where it's like, dude, fucking don't throw the bad pitch.
Don't they do that in the NFL too with like...
Yeah, where they don't let him dance in the end zone nearly that much, or else they'll get a flag.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand if it's wasting a lot of time, because it's like, okay, like it's been 15 minutes. Like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
It's wasting time? 5 minutes of commercials. Fuck you.
You gotta pay the bills.
Gotta pay the bills.
That's why we have infinite money at the Pixelympics. You don't have to worry about commercials. 0 commercials.
Well, speaking of the PixelPlay Olympics, I've got another one.
Pixelympics. Get it right.
Pixelympics. Sorry.
We're not we gotta brand it. It's not gonna work if you keep making the name different.
Or it keeps people guessing. So all the athletes at night need to let off some steam and go for a drink or something. Actually, probably they don't drink at all while they're doing that. But what if the Hostess Club minigame from Yakuza was where they had to go after, right? So somebody, obviously there's the people who run the Hostess Club.
I'm done.
We killed Kaylan.
Oh,
no, come back. No, he's going to the Hostess Club. That's where he's going.
Yeah, makes
what
sense.
If the people who show up that are the guests are actually all the other athletes from all the other sports, and they get to go and get partnered up with the correct hostess and get the correct
it's just
drink.
professional diner dash.
Yeah, it's professional diner dash. See, if I said that, Kaylan would still be here.
Nah, he's fine. He's still alive. He'll make it.
All right. So the Hostess Club.
I'll one-up you, Chris.
Oh, here we go.
Because you know how currently right now everybody is just so upset that the women in beach volleyball are not wearing bikinis anymore. They're all wearing pants. It's okay. We here at the Pixelympics got your back. Now, it's sort of mixed with anime, but it's also mixed with an actual game. But look, the butt-bumping minigame from Dead or Alive Extreme, there's your beach volleyball. You want your girls in bikinis? By the way, guys would do this in Speedos too, and that's the rule. That's the outfit rule. They have to wear it.
Here at the PixelPlay Podcast.
We are equal quality offenders. That's what we do. Yeah, fuck it. There's your eye candy game, so that every ridiculously like horny old guy has something to look forward to every year now. Good, we've got that part covered.
4 years.
No. It's every year. We're doing that's what we're doing.
Oh, okay.
It's the Olympics, but better.
Good thing we have all this money.
I mean, we lost
infinite money.
3 years, all ours.
Oh, Kaylan, what Yakuza minigame do you have?
I'm tapped out. I'm done. I actually got I'm good. You guys can go ahead.
All right, Chris. What Yakuza minigame do you have left?
I actually don't know if I have any more Yakuza minigames. I could put
I went out of my way to not do that except for the driving range, because I'm like, all right, I'm going to control myself here.
No, I just put Hostess Club and the disco. I don't know why the Hostess Club. The athletes need to have a drink and let off steam after. It just makes sense.
Like I said, there's some games in the Olympics that it's like, why? So we're allowed to have ones that make you go, why?
Yeah.
We're trying to be just like the Olympics, but just better. Yep. Which means we have better why games.
So I've got one that's like pretty realistic. Actually, I think, Adam, I don't know if you mentioned this before the podcast or at the start of it. But like Wave Race 64, like an actual just jet ski race, like that seems pretty awesome and extremely realistic.
Better
like this
than
one's not.
Yeah, except, have you guys seen clips of people when they're sailing and they're like leaning down in the water and it looks like they're dry humping the air to try to keep the sail down so they get the turn? It's
I
so
have not,
fucking.
But I will right after.
Yeah, it's a thing. And I expect the only thing that I wish somebody would do, and I'm sure it's probably done that somewhere, but take that GIF on repeat and have that like sexy sax like meme music, the bow, like that one, and just have it constantly flipping in the background. I'll go with something a little more quote unquote realistic. I'm replacing judo with something more akin to like Virtua Fighter or Dead or Alive, where it's just much more like basically we're just talking mixed martial arts. That was the closest thing I can get to it. Yeah. Except with, combos. And apparently people don't defend very well. And they fall down all the time.
All the time.
Aside from that, I also added replacing fencing. Just take the swordplay game from Wii Sports.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're on like a big raft and you got to knock the person off.
I like that.
Like it.
And it has to be those really shitty looking pool noodle swords, so it makes the same sounds where it's just like bang, bing.
Kind of in line with that ish. I put one of the obstacle courses from Fall Guys. Just
that'd be fun.
Like 100 people in
You know what?
costumes.
MXC really would be the best Olympics. Let's be real.
It would be, yeah. It's basically MXC, but people have to be in bean costumes, and it's 100 people. Wait, was it 100 or 60? That game was 60, right?
60.
Yes.
Yeah. 60 people all having to run to the end, or 60 people on a platform with the spinning arms, and they have to jump over it and not get thrown off.
Well, I mean, you know how like athletics has like 70 different versions of running? There you go. That's how you encapsulate
There we go.
it.
Yeah, a whole just
We
Fall
just have
Guys
one
line.
entire set of sports called Fall Guys, and it's just all their little obstacle courses.
And I love that we give them no context of what game it is. So they could be like building cardio for running, and it's like, no, sorry, you just gotta like jump. And they're like, oh, damn.
No. They are actual like noted events. They would be able to train separately for these. They would know what's coming.
But we
No,
gotta
they
be
know
fair.
they know what the possibilities are. But of like these 20, there's only 3 that are selected.
In all honesty, if I was
yes.
setting it up, I would have them separately. I want the best of the best at fucking jumping through rings. That's what I want.
Oh, that ring one. I forgot about that. How are we going to make rings magically appear? Oh, no, they came down on like,
Infinite money,
things.
Chris.
The technology that we will invent. It's going to be insane.
We got so much money, we can go one of 2 ways. We do the Pixelympics or we build Jurassic Park. That's what we're at.
Oh, I'm so in for a Jurassic Park. It's going to
I'm
end
not.
horribly, but it's how I want to go.
worse.
It's how I want to go.
I got a couple more like complete out there ones. Has anybody ever played Windjammers before?
No.
I know the name, but I can't remember which game
Windjammers
it is.
is like frisbee soccer where it's 1-on-1, and it's like throwing it either off the wall or actually it's not necessarily soccer. It's almost like soccer, volleyball, like pong, all mixed into one. By the way, anybody who wants like something really cool, like competitive 1-on-1 for, Windjammers is actually a pretty fucking sick little time spender, to the point that I think it actually was an Evo once because it got real intense at one point. But yeah, that's a real cool one. The other one I could think of was Knockout City, which was that like that like a 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 whatever it was dodgeball game, where it's like arena dodgeball, not just I don't want dodgeball where it's just you in a gym with a couple of with a rectangle around you. No. There are maps. There's obstacle courses, and it wouldn't be 3-on-3 because then that would be too small. No. We're talking like, I don't know, like 6-on-6, 7-on-7. I don't know. We'll figure it out as soon as we figure out how big the maps are. That's a future problem.
That's a
Spare no
future
expense.
Exactly.
The amount of battle royales we could.
Oh, for sure.
Can we make Splatoon happen? How do we get like ink people?
Just like Jurassic Park, we'll get the lab once they're done with the robots. They'll start making squid kids.
Nice, perfect. So Splatoon. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris, you got any left?
I've only got 2, so I can just kind of quickly say about them
split
both.
I got a couple of like more realistic ones at the end here.
These are not realistic at all. One of them they could do very realistically because it's not athletic at all. This is a sport of the mind, and it is Quiplash from the Jackbox games. Like literally just like putting out, not trivia, I don't even know what to call that game. That's the one where you get given a sentence.
Fibbage.
No, Fibbage is the one where you could be lying. Quiplash is the one where it gives everybody the same sentence with a blank word, and then you have to put in that word, and then whoever they vote on the funniest one or whatever
It's
it
just
is.
Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, basically Cards Against Humanity. Yeah, but yeah, I made it a video game to
what
keep
you're
relevant.
saying is there's going to be a French judge in there that has no sense of humor and is going to be the reason that Canada loses.
Okay, fine. We'll do the T-shirt competition from Jackbox where people have to design T-shirts and they battle against each other for which T-shirt is the coolest. But everybody is in the different stages of building a T-shirt. I don't know. Jackbox, they're games of the mind. Okay, they're athletes too.
What was your
And then
other one?
My last one literally says, Adam said no card games, but screw him, triple trad from Final Fantasy VIII.
Well played.
And
It's the only card
I'm
game.
discovering about Chris that he was definitely on the chess club.
Basically, what Chris wants is he wants the
know it.
ultimate rich person game because that is clearly a pay-to-win game right there.
What, triple trad? No. Everybody gets the same deck, I guess. I don't know. I actually don't know how this would work. I didn't think it through, okay? I just had to write down, screw Adam, we're having triple trad.
Yep. Okay. The last three that I have is like random ones. So like I have baseball. Honestly, because it just reminded me of like a really old MS-DOS game where it's just a home run derby. I honestly think like if there was ever a way to have a consistent pitching machine that always pitched in the same spot, the same speed, and like having like an actual like similar to how there's obviously like shot put and javelin throw. Like I want to see who can hit the farthest home run, like long distance home run. Like that'd be a cool thing. Like I'm not talking about the most over the wall. I'm just talking who can hit the farthest. I want the most steroided up motherfucker with like tree trunks for arms just bashing something 600 feet in the air. That's what I want.
I like that.
When you said dingers, it just made me think of the episode of The Simpsons with MLB, and they're like, "Do you want to hear the deep dark secrets of MLB, or do you want to see me hit some dingers?"
Yep. You gotta make sure you gotta give it 120%. That's not possible. The other two I have, I couldn't figure out what sport this relates to, so I just kind of put it somewhere in the weightlifting thing. But like Mortal Kombat always has those test your might games. I want straight up, okay, who can chop the most friggin' stone blocks or whatever it is.
You're wrong there, Adam. I'm sorry, I'm calling it. It's not that. You want the Street Fighter one where they have to beat the shit out of a Lamborghini or Ferrari.
Yeah, the beating up the car.
There are
one. That's what I
multiple
was
events.
just thinking.
There are multiple versions. We can add on to this. I'm open to stuff.
I mean, it's like, hey, do you want to watch him beat a rock or beat a car? I'm like, I want to watch him beat the shit out of a car.
To which I go, yes, both, please.
Both, please.
Because the car is a speed thing. That's like running. But if you do like the number of things, it's like high jump. How many of them can you take out in one swoop?
I'm actually very much on board with this. I think we could make this work. All we just need to do is get 2 cars. We need to get a insurance adjuster. We give someone like a crowbar, and they have like 1 minute, and whoever can cause the most damage on that vehicle wins.
I have the correct response. So we kill Elon and steal all the Cybertrucks, and it's perfect.
I mean, those things destroy themselves.
And we have infinite money. We could have just bought the trucks.
No, he still needs to die.
So now we've lost Elon on our audience list as well.
Well,
if we go down 1 subscriber, it's him. We know it's 100% him.
it's more I'm gonna see that I'm banned from X all of a sudden.
Yeah. You're making powerful enemies, and I'm not on board with this.
And the last thing I have, it's not necessarily to any game. You could just insert any game from these in here. I just want fuck wrestling. Pro wrestling should be in the Olympics. I want a fake fucking pro wrestling tournament where it's an evil Russian fighting for the gold against, I don't know, Britain. Because, actually, no, never mind. It has to be America. Because if it was going to be Britain, it has to be some African country so we can do the whole colonization friggin' storyline. Because Britain's the evil villain.
I'm fully on board with this. Each country can send 1 wrestler, and they have to build a character around that country.
But here's the thing.
And...
The medal, we already premeditate who's winning. We literally just roll we spin a wheel and we find who wins gold, silver, and bronze. We set up a tournament. We go, okay, here's how we're gonna book it, and then we figure it all out from there. But they put everybody in there. And look, you're just looking to get a job in WWE after this is all said and done. So just make it count when you're on the world stage, guy from Zimbabwe. You kick your ass out there. Come on.
America just sends John Cena.
Actually, motherfucker's retiring next year, so he's almost out of time.
You can't just have plain names. It's full out characters. Italy sending Marinara Maniac, and he comes out
so Italy will send out the racist character from Punch Out, Pizza Pasta, before they renamed him. I don't even know who. Actually, I don't even think they renamed him. I think they just straight up cut him because he was in the arcade version only. Literally, Punch Out is great for that. Just the most fucking stereotypical shit ever.
Yeah, the Russian guy, they replaced vodka with soda or something.
Soda Popinski, because he was vodka Drakensky. That's not a joke. Actually, I guess it is a joke, but it's actually a real thing.
Japan. Oh my god. Unhinged. Unhinged in the 80s.
Maybe that'll be a side thing at one point. We just all right, we're making a world wrestling tournament. What are the characters from each country?
Yeah, that's not going to get us canceled at all.
Will not be that. No, never mind.
When you have to preface that racist, we're going to get canceled. We're not doing that.
I mean, to be fair, we would be treating white populations way worse. Because we know. Because the English guy would literally just be the colonizer.
Oh, we're stopping this right here, guys. Adam, thanks so much for bringing that topic. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like that, you want to watch more, we post every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't yet and you're listening to us wherever you get your podcasts, leave a review, leave a comment. We really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know what sport you would like to see added to our Pixelympics. Do not leave suggestions for cultural, inappropriate wrestlers. That's the only thing we ask. But like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And if you want more, we're going to be posting on Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about the decrease in PixelPlay, or not PixelPlay Plus, PlayStation Plus subscribers. So check that out. And if you want to be part of the show, go to linktr.ee/PixelPlay Podcast, where you can go join our Discord, talk with us, hang out with fellow listeners and fans. We have a great group there, and we'd love to have more of you, so feel free to join there. And with that, we'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.